Dear students, today we are going to deal a topic from chapter 2, types of companies, and the name of the chapter is forms of business organization. So in your previous class you might have studied the meaning of joint stock company. Let us revise. A company is an association of persons formed for carrying out business activities and has a legal status independent of its members. Read it as independent of its members. So it's a voluntary association of persons and it has a legal status, that is company is different and the members, the owners of the company are different. So it's a voluntary association. Anybody can become the member of a joint stock company by purchasing the shares of the company. A company can be described as an artificial person having a separate legal entity, perpetual succession and a common seal. Company is not a natural person, but we call it as an artificial person which has a separate legal entity. So once the company is registered with the registrar of companies, it gets a incorporation certificate, or we also call it as registration certificate. So once the certificate is received by the company, or once the company is registered, the company will get a separate legal existence, or company will get a separate legal entity, will become a separate legal entity. That it means that company by its own can enter into a contract or can sign by its own with the use of common seal. Perpetual succession is nothing but common seal. Perpetual succession is nothing but continuous existence. Member may come, member may go, but company will live for a longer period of time. And a common seal, as I said, company enters into a contract by its own by using its signature, and that signature we call it as common seal. The name of the company is engraved on a stamp, and that stamp will be put up on all the important documents of the company as if it's a signature of the company. So it's an artificial person having a separate legal entity, perpetual succession and a common seal. So this is the meaning of joint stock company. Today we are going to discuss types of companies. So companies are divided into two types. First one is private company and second one is public company. The Company Act has given the definition of private company with three conditions. So we'll see which are those conditions. A private company means a company which restricts the right of members to transfer its shares. Second one has a minimum of 2 and maximum of 200 members excluding the present and past employees. C, does not invite public to subscribe to its securities. Securities in the sense shares. Its shares. We'll see one by one. First one is restricts the right of members to transfer its shares. Suppose if I am a owner or a member of a private company and I wish to transfer my shareholding to one of my friend or to one of my relative, I am not supposed to transfer. That is, transferability of shares is restricted in case of private company. This is the first condition. Second condition is, to start a private company we require minimum of 2 persons and maximum of 200 members maximum limit. And third one is, does not invite public to subscribe to its shares and debentures. Now here private company raises funds from friends, relatives or from its members, but they cannot invite general public to subscribe to its shares and debentures. So these are three important aspects when we talk about private company. Another important restriction for a private company is, when a private company chooses its name, it is necessary for a private company to use the word private limited. Like for example, XYZ private limited. If it's a private company, then the word private limited is must or compulsory. What do you mean by public company? Now, Companies Act has given a definition. A public company means a company which is not a private company. Means those three conditions, there is no restriction on transfer of shares. minimum 7, maximum unlimited members, no restriction on transfer of securities, and there is no prohibition from inviting the public to subscribe to its securities. So these are three main conditions of public company. That is why we say public company is one which is not a private company. So we'll see one by one. First is, to start a public company, minimum number of members required is 7 and maximum is unlimited. Sorry, means unlimited members can be there. If a company wants to raise huge amount of capital, they can have unlimited members. There is no limit for maximum number of members. There is no restriction on transfer of securities, that is shares and securities of a public company can be easily transferred from one person to another person. So suppose if I want to gift my shares to some of my relative, I can, or some of my friend, I can really transfer the shares without any restriction. And last one is, public company can raise its capital by issue of shares and debentures in general public. So these are some of the conditions of public company. So we'll see there are some privileges of a private limited company as against a public limited company. Few privileges enjoyed by a private company when we compare it to public limited company. Which are those? First one, private company can be formed only by 2 members. So if you want to start a private company, you can start it easily by taking only 2 members. But when it comes to public limited company, we require 7 members, minimum 7 members to start a public company. Second one is, there is no need to issue a prospectus, as public company is not invited to subscribe to the shares of a private company. Now when shares only are not subscribed from general public, private company need not issue a prospectus. What is prospectus? Prospectus is a kind of a booklet where when public company issues its shares from general public, they have to issue the prospectus to the general public, where the entire information, all the information of the company is written in it, and one copy need to be filed with the registrar of companies. Such compulsion is not there in case of private company. Third one is, allotment of shares can be done without receiving the minimum subscription. When private company is not supposed to raise the funds from general public, question of minimum subscription doesn't arise. So this is another privilege enjoyed by the private company. Fourth one is, a private company needs to have only 2 directors, means minimum directors required by the private company is 2, but whereas in case of public company it is 3. And last one is, a private company is not required to keep an index of members. Index of members is register of members. For public company, maintenance of index of members is compulsory or it is necessary, but in case of private company it is not. So we'll see once again the difference between private and public company. So on the basis of members, minimum number of directors, index of members, transfer of shares, invitation to public to subscribe to shares, we can differentiate public company and private company. Now to start a public company, minimum 7 members are required and maximum there is no limit, it is unlimited membership. When it comes to private company, minimum 2 members are required and maximum 200. Minimum number of directors, public company 3 directors are must, private company it's only 2. Index of members is compulsory in case of public company, but there is no compulsion of maintenance of index of members in case of private company. Shares of public company, no restriction. We can also say like this, easy transferability of shares is available in case of public company, but there are restrictions on transfer of shares in case of private company. And last one is, public company can invite the general public to subscribe to its shares and debentures, but private company cannot invite general public to subscribe to its shares and debentures. So these are some 5 points to differentiate public company and private company. So the Companies Act itself gives the definition of public company, saying that public company is one which is not a private company, and these are 3 conditions of public company. Same way, private company also has the 3 conditions. When it's come to private company, the word private limited is compulsory. When it comes to public company, the word limited is compulsory. Means if it is a public company, we will write it as XYZ limited, whereas if it is a private company, then we will write it as XYZ private limited. Thank you.